I need to dive into the actual Dreadcast YouTube analytics for the last episode of The Devil Rides Out, because I go into the analytics a lot just to see viewer retention, because I've learned over the years of doing YouTube, it's all well and good getting the views, but look at the viewer retention and the audience, and if it peaks at like 2 minutes and then it dwindles down, you know, people are clicking off quite quickly. It is what it is. They're clicking on it. At least they're seeing it.
Yeah, sure,
but
sure.
When your last video suddenly gets 927 views in 3 days, very abnormal for us.
Yeah.
I need to delve into that. I want to see if there are 926 people viewing that. Thank you very much.
Definitely.
But that last episode, that I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's Hammer.
Maybe people love Hammer.
Maybe it's Hammer.
Resurgence.
Hammer has done it for us with nearly 10 new subscribers in a week.
I mean, that's
granted.
Great.
Again, I'm not sure if half of these are bots. Some are real. We know some are real people. Thank you very much for joining. If you are, the thing is now, I'm saying thank you to these new subscribers, but they might only like the Hammer stuff. I don't know if they're like Simpsons stuff. They're very different types of content.
What's that Venn diagram?
Exactly.
The crossover between people that like the Simpsons and people that like Hammer Horror.
Yeah,
but there's got to be some crossover. Everybody likes the Simpsons, surely.
You'd thought so. There are monsters out there. But if you are listening to this episode and you did subscribe in the last week, thank you very much, General Eric, Harry, 2, Redmond McWilliams. That is a gentleman that you conversed with about.
Back
the
the Dennis Wheatley books. Yeah,
and Angelica Hellish, dope name. So yeah, and to others who subscribed. For some reason, it's not. It doesn't. That's where I think they're bots, because the notifications only show like certain names subscribed. It doesn't show everyone. So I feel like there are some bots there, but we'll take them. We need them. We need the bots.
We'll take them.
So yeah, I mean, Devil Rides Out did very well last week, apparently. Even on the audio downloads.
Good. That's
had
what
great
we like.
fun doing that.
Our first little foray into Hammer Horror. We'll have to get a couple of others.
Oh, without doubt. And do you know, another foray I figured we should delve into in the future, and that is from doing my notes for today's episode, which is welcome back to the Dreadcast, folks. This is episode 83. I'm Tom's lovely Aidan.
Hello.
Just getting it out there. Today's episode on Treehouse of Horror 7 and 8. I don't know why I've only realised this now, but obviously, I have realised it, but I only realised it really now that every Treehouse basically has a Twilight Zone episode. Inspired. Could we delve into the Twilight Zone in the future?
I think
have we already done it now with the Simpsons?
No, I think we probably should. I mean, there are. I feel like the Twilight Zone is a big thing. Like, we know what it is, but it's an American thing.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, I don't think it has the same cultural impact for us Brits that it does for that it does in the US. Like,
not to say it's not still very good.
No, certainly no shade
Still
on it at all. But I mean, like, we had what was Tales of the Unexpected, the Roald Dahl one, which is basically like a very British Twilight Zone. So yeah, we had our own versions, but again, I don't think anything has had as big a cultural impact as the Twilight Zone did or has. I mean, there's certainly no theme park rides dedicated to Tales of the Unexpected, as far as I know.
Wait, by saying that, are you saying there were Twilight Zone themed rides?
Yeah, the Tower of Terror.
Is that
the Tower of Terror is Twilight Zone?
I didn't know that. I didn't. Yeah. Wait, isn't the Tower of Terror now like a Guardians of the Galaxy? It got revamped.
It may have done.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the mighty Twilight Zone. The kids have moved on to the Avengers. They're not on the Twilight Zone anymore.
They haven't got the patience for it.
But yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure it was. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I distinctly remember there being like a.
We can't be spitting facts here without truth, mate. We can't be doing that now.
Zone style introduction to it and stuff, and you move through a little thingy with the spinny business. Yeah, I'm sure it's Twilight Zone.
Yes, you're right. You're fine. We can get away with that. That's fine. That's correct.
Um,
Carrie Fisher was going to go on that, but never mind. That's neither here nor there.
So there's so like I say, it doesn't have as big an impact, or I think most of our sort of references to the Twilight Zone probably do come from things like The Simpsons and from
definitely
references in other media rather than actual Twilight Zone. Because I don't know if it was broadcast over here. It may have been.
The Twilight Zone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, upon release of the Twilight Zone, what did we have? 4 channels? 3 channels?
I mean, 3 channels, yeah.
Around that time.
Yeah.
Channel 4's the newest one. So, I mean, I obviously it wasn't alive at that point. But,
no.
I've watched a handful of Twilight Zone.
I'm sure,
they are great.
I'm not saying nobody in the UK has ever seen it. Like, I'm sure.
No, I know.
Plenty of people.
I know what you're saying.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it ever was on. Was ever on UK TV.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's the thing. It'd be good. Yeah, it would be good to look at because it's not something I'm directly familiar with. All my knowledge of it probably does come from Simpsons Halloween special episodes and references in other cartoons. I think some of the Johnny Bravo Halloween. I remember Johnny Bravo Halloween special Twilight Zone links.
Speaking of dated cartoons, fantastic dated cartoons. I did a bit of Johnny Bravo. Do the monkey with me.
That was great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So we're back. We're back in the treehouse. And it's, I think I mentioned this maybe last time or the time before. It's still not labeled as titled as Treehouse of Horror. It's still called the Simpsons Halloween Special. Do you know? I mean, I haven't done the research on this. Is it still to this day called the Simpsons Halloween Special? But on like Wikipedia, on episode guides, on Disney Plus or whatever, it's called Treehouse of Horror. Did they maybe they lent into the name Treehouse of Horror?
I mean, they're all. I don't. Maybe it's not officially. The Simpsons wiki calls it list of Treehouse of Horror episodes. Yeah. Treehouse of Horror, also known as the Simpsons Halloween Specials, is the main Wikipedia entry.
Let's type in so let's go to Frinkiac. By the way, folks, best Simpsons website out there. Go to Frinkiac, FRINKIAC.com. Get any single frame of any Simpsons episode you want. Make a funny meme out of it. Bing bang bosh, brilliant. You'll have a good time with that. So let's start Treehouse of Horror. Let's say 25. Frinkiac.
They are labelled as the episode titles are labelled as Treehouse of Horror on IMDb.
Are they?
Yeah.
But they might not. I mean, all these early episodes, they have the title. You know, like it's written in blood on the screen, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, we'll get into it now. Treehouse of Horror 7. Very quick opening. And there's no wraparound with 7. It's just Homer lighting a jack-o'-lantern, lights himself on fire, runs around on fire. That's it. Very simple. No graveyard crawl. Again, we're done with the graveyard crawl. We're done with Marge's disclaimer. Mm-hmm. Just Homer being Homer. And we get the blood, the Simpsons Halloween Special 7 written in blood on the screen. I actually think they made... no, here we go. Treehouse of Horror 15. It's an intro with the aliens, with our friends. And one of the aliens is stamping onto the wall the words Treehouse of Horror. So they do lean into it eventually.
Yeah,
curious now as to when they started it.
Well, Treehouse of Horror is the title of the the title of that first Halloween special, I think.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I know it comes up saying Halloween special.
Yeah,
I think like the sort of, if you looked at an episode list guide, it's called Treehouse of Horror.
So eventually, within the episode, they lean into titling the episode Treehouse of Horror. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're all. Certainly, everybody knows what you're talking about. I think
Exactly.
you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is no. It's like you say, no wraparound for this one. No real intro at all. It is, yeah. Homer lights a jack-o'-lantern, sets himself on fire, and we get straight into it.
This and the next one, 8, which we're going to do in this episode, I think are very similar. They start and finish really strong, with an okay middle, in my opinion. Not bad, just not as strong as the start and finish.
Yeah.
But I also feel 7 is probably the strongest Treehouse of Horror since we've done. Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace is great, but I don't think the rest of that episode balances out to be one of the best Treehouse of Horrors. I think this one is the funniest.
Okay.
Or actually, okay, I'll go even more specific. I don't think it's the best, let's say, horror-wise. I think it's the funniest. I think it's the most well-written.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm thinking, yeah, sort of spread through each of the 3 stories. There's probably more quotable moments.
The jokes on top of jokes on top of jokes, and the incredible writing is throughout this whole episode. So, I mean, the first one, the first installment, The Thing and I.
The Thing and I. Which doesn't... talking about Twilight Zone, and every episode having or a lot of them having a Twilight Zone link, I would have put money on this being a Twilight Zone riff.
Yes, without doubt.
Not. There's no reference to this. This is just a story that they made up. Yeah.
The only reference I found, I don't know if you found this, is Homer's little song. So, I mean, I'm going to try a little thing here.
Oh, his off the fish heads.
Yes, yeah. Fish heads. Did you find the actual song, by the way?
No.
I found it. It's really bizarre. So basically, very simple story. Bart and Lisa awaken one night to hear a ruckus in the attic. Mm-hmm. We eventually find out it's Bart's evil twin who was separated at birth. But then we then get to realise that they were actually switched. There was one evil twin, there was one good twin, and we were led to believe Bart was the good twin.
Which made me think that this was the Twilight Zone one, because that's a very reveal twist that were conjoined twins separated at birth, and it's the left twin that's the evil one, and shock horror, the scar is on the wrong side, so meaning Bart is the evil one. Which
actually, as a viewer, when Bart lifts his top up, you can see before they do that. Oh, wait, he's the evil one.
Yeah. But yeah, so, it's not. Go on. Anyway.
No, there is a point where we'll get to the song in a minute. Because it's funny.
Fish heads.
So they wake up one night to hear this ruckus in the attic, right? Mm-hmm. And it's Hugo, obviously, that we get to finally get revealed. So it's been 10 years then, because Bart's 10. And only now have they heard Hugo.
Yeah.
You dare tell me over there in internet land, Aidan. It's cartoon though, isn't it? It's cartoon. You dare tell me? I don't want to hear that, Aidan. I don't want to hear it.
Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episodes aren't canon. They're not canon.
Fine, they don't need to be canon. But still, what happened in the past 10 years?
Well, we don't find that out, do we? Well,
they haven't smelt or seen a single fish head in 10 years.
I mean, I think maybe the house, they probably just think the attic smells of fish heads anyway. There's various references to the fact that maybe the Simpsons house isn't quite in the best of conditions. Homer being, sort of lackadaisical about DIY and maintenance and things.
Like the chimney just falling down.
Yeah, so I think it's within the realms of possibility that they just assumed that there was a weird smell from the attic. And that's, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
Remember, they have 4 kids.
They're 4, Homer's little slip of the tongue. I work my butt off to feed you 4 kids.
3? We have 3.
When they venture up to the attic, did you notice the little background Easter eggs?
The Mary Worth, is it the Mary Worth statue? The phone. I noticed the phone.
Yeah, there's that. There's B Sharp's records.
Yes, yeah.
And Marge's.
It's not canon though.
No,
it's not canon though, Aidan, is it?
That's why it's a little Easter egg, isn't it? And also some of Marge's paintings of Ringo Starr are up there as well.
Yes, but we also cannot forget Homer's autobiography. Homer, I hardly knew thee. The unsold copies. Before this though, the fish heads. So yes. Homer goes up to the attic with the kids secretly watching with a bucket of fish heads, but he's singing fish heads, do 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 do. And I found the actual song. It's by a group called Barnes and Barnes, and it's called Fish Heads.
Oh right, okay.
I'm serious. Listen to this. Listen to this.
Fish heads, roly-poly fish heads, eat them up, yum.
It's wild, isn't it? It's
What
absolutely
is this?
wild. Yeah.
Well,
Yep. And there we go.
that is absolutely insane. But
Yeah.
okay, there you go.
Did you also catch there's something that really makes me laugh. It's not the fish heads bits, it's when you hear him give the fish head bucket, it's Homer's disgust in his voice. It's like it's not even really a sound. He's grossed out by Hugo devouring these fish heads. It's superb. Obviously, like when you said the kids go up into the attic, Hugo escapes. We don't know he's Hugo right now, but he is Hugo.
No, yeah.
And when they confront the parents, Marge's line, "I'm very disappointed and terrified."
Fired. Yeah. Well, we get a great. So Marge and Homer go out and leaving the kids, in the house alone. So they pop up to the attic to investigate, and don't actually see Hugo. They see the chains and the empty bucket.
Scuttle.
And he scuttles off, and that's it. And they run out, and then we get that great sight gag of the three vases. And
that's incredible.
You can hear muffled voices, and it's like, do you think it's safe to come out? I don't care. Like, I can't breathe in here. And the closet door opens, and the kids come out of the closet. I think it's a great. I think it's an obvious sight gag,
Is it? I mean, is it to a first-time viewer of that?
Well, maybe not.
I think it's an incredible gag.
But I do like that. It is a good one. And they. Is it that point that Bart's alone?
Yes, Homer and Marge come back.
Mm-hmm.
Homer and Marge come back. They come through the door, and they went out because who needs a car wash when you can just drive around in the rain? I mean, that's kind of my mindset for a couple. Just get it clean a little bit.
Doesn't work, folks.
It's when they reveal that Hugo has escaped. Mm-hmm. Marge is disappointed and terrified. She makes a call to Dr. Hibbert, who I love when a call like that is written into a script, because she dials and instantly he's on the phone. He's on the other end. She starts talking, he's on the other end. Or because she doesn't take a pause, it's like it's an answer. It's an answer. A message being left. Because at the end of her message says, "See you soon." Mm-hmm. Then they go out to find Hugo, and they say, "Bart, you stay here and take the hockey game."
That's it. Yeah. And plot twist: Hugo never left the house, and he's in there, and now he has Bart alone.
Sorry, no. They come back from driving around in the rain, go to the attic to look. He's gone. Rings Hibbert, and Hibbert turns up at the house. Then they all go, because when Hibbert turns up at the house, that's where they get the exposition, the story of what happened. And it saved
right.
their marriage.
Can't you tell we planned to do this episode like a week ago when we'd watched it?
Yes, no, it's all good. Just shooting the shit about Simpsons, isn't it? You know, that's what we're doing.
So we get I feel like the evils, to say that, as we've established, it's not based on any other media that we really can, that immediately springs to mind. I feel like the evil twin is a bit of a trope.
Big time.
Like we know, you know, the concept of an evil twin isn't an alien one. I mean, I feel like it's maybe a bit hackneyed and soap opera-esque, but it's...
but the fact they feed him fish heads, that's what I think gives it a real weird vibe to it.
I mean, yeah, we've got, well, because as far as they've been told by the Doctor, he's evil, therefore he deserves to be abused. I think
why is his diet fish heads?
Locked in the attic and fed fish heads. Can't give him normal food, even if you feel like you have to restrain him.
No. We can't be doing that. Not even the rest of the fish.
I mean,
a fish head.
Pork chops. Oh, money's a bit tight at the minute. Pork chops. Yeah, maybe that's it. The budget doesn't stretch to meatloaf and pork chops and stuff for
the rest of the fish.
The fourth child. Well, that's it. Presumably the family are having
they're
just eating a lot of fish and the heads are going in a bucket. Because I think they also said it's a bucket of fish heads once a week. So he's not even getting fed daily.
No, once a week. He's got to ration those fish heads.
Yeah. Shocking. So some of those fish heads are at least a week old, sitting in that bucket.
So when they do leave, that's when we get the proper reveal of Hugo. Which I quite like. I like the reveal because Bart's obviously terrified and you hear a little rustle and he's like, "You're here, aren't you?" And he's just behind him.
Yeah.
Very ominous. And
with a fish head on the plate.
Yeah. Hugo's voice sounds like someone, like a non-voice actor, trying to do Bart's voice but failing.
Yeah, I
believe it's Nancy Cartwright. It's got to be Nancy Cartwright.
It's got to be. So. She's doing a version, and it's like Bart with a cold.
Yeah,
similar, but that it's not quite right. I mean, I think that obviously he's an identical twin, and I think they do a good look of like a degraded Bart. It's like he's sort of hunched and he's got teeth missing and his eyesight's a bit wonky and his hair's all bedraggled. And I think it looks like a Bart that's been imprisoned for 10 years and fed fish heads, essentially.
Why is he wearing the same clothes as Bart?
Twins. You always dress twins the same, even if one of them's evil and kept in the attic.
But bodies get bigger, so you have to buy new clothes to fit the size of the body. So they bought him the same size clothes as he gets bigger.
I mean, it's maybe a one-off. I mean, maybe it's probably easier to hide from Bart if you're going shopping for new trousers, and it's like, well, we'll get a couple of pairs of these in case you wear out. And...
You need to be able to respond to my logical questions about a cartoon and their appearance and why this and why this. Okay,
I am doing it.
You can't just. It's the cartoon. It's fine. You can't.
I didn't say it's just a cartoon.
I see it in your face. I see it.
I didn't say that. I mean, that's what I believe. You should just calm down about it. But no, Margie's taking Bart shopping, and it's like, we'll get a couple of pairs of those trousers, and Bart he's not going to think anything of it, and then a set goes up. I mean,
where are those other trousers you bought?
He doesn't know. He's 10 years old. He doesn't give a crap. He just throws his laundry in the hamper and then new stuff magically, clean stuff appears in his drawers. He doesn't know the mechanics of it.
No.
So he's not keeping track of his t-shirts.
They go to Hugo.
Yeah.
Has he got a toilet up there?
It's probably another bucket.
The bucket that...
I mean,
you finish your fish heads and then
yeah,
recycle it. That's good. That's good.
That's probably
like it.
It's probably what's going down.
So
we get we have, like, Hibbert has revealed that the Bart was born as a twin, a conjoined twin. We get the we have the little breastfeeding gag because Hugo is revealed to be a biter.
Yeah.
And Marge, I'll bottle feed that one. And then we get the discussion of the surgery to separate them, and Hibbert with the guillotine. And
Yeah.
he's like, shrink. And he's just chopping apart a couple of consent forms that they'll need to sign, which
the paperwork.
is again, it's a fun little gag. Yeah, the surgery is a success, and Hugo's been up in the attic for 10 years. And his main desire, as he reveals to Bart, is that he wants to be whole again. He wants to be joined back to his brother. So his intention is to sew himself back to Bart's side, and he's been practicing.
What's he been practicing?
He made a pigeon rat.
He did. He did indeed, and it kind of works.
Well, yeah,
kind of works.
The pigeon, attempts to fly off and hits the window, drops down. The rat bit scurries into a hole, and is too tall. his pigeon half hits the top of the hole, and that's the end of that. But an incredibly long ball of string and a massive needle, and he's preparing to stitch himself back to his brother.
There's a really great line here, though, where Bart is terrified and says, "You're crazy!" And Hugo responds with, "Crazy? We all go a little crazy. I know I am."
Just in the nick of time, the Simpsons and Dr. Hibbert return, and Hibbert tricks Hugo into sort of dropping his concentration by asking him if he wants to see his reflection, because he must have never seen his reflection in the mirror. I mean, that is a great shot.
It's incredible. Hibbert
holding up essentially an empty frame, and he just punches Hugo out through it,
knocks him the fuck out.
Which, is a grown man punching a 10-year-old boy in the face,
and it's hilarious.
There should be more of it.
It will never not be hilarious. Although he was about to board a plane to Switzerland, as they thought they saw him at the airport.
And yes, and this is when we get the reveal that the left twin is always the evil one. But hang on, shouldn't Hugo's scar be on the other side? And then, just to round things off, they bring Hugo down from the attic, and Bart is the new replacement.
It's yeah, it's hilarious. Oh, this is so funny, Hugo, this episode of Simpsons, but they're kind of portrayed as one of those families we get here in the news every couple years, like Fritz has got his child locked in a... Yeah,
there's some really terrible, monstrous thing going on, and the parents can just on a
whim, just
on a dime, on a whim, just decide that this child is not favoured anymore. Into the attic with the fish heads you go.
It's really deep. Like, when you really think of it like that,
it's quite dark.
Really
if you wanna,
dark.
You want to look into it. It's incredibly dark.
It's really dark. We'll swap this twin out for the other one.
Yeah, actually, it turns out this one's the evil one. Let's.
The other one is a bit of a troublemaker, but he's still their son. No, you don't get that now. You get the attic chained up.
But I mean, think about that though. Bart being like the little sort of troublemaker and hellraiser that he is. Imagine how fearful of Hugo they were, thinking he was if Bart's this bad, and Hugo's the evil one.
Yes.
Like, how bad must Hugo be?
What? Yeah, when you really think about it like that, what a segment to start with.
Yeah.
But most 99.9% of people, other than what we've just come to the revelation of, will just finish that segment and be like, they Bart now in the attic. Oh, the shenanigans.
Because it's just a cartoon, Tom.
It's just a cartoon. It's just a cartoon. That's all. Doesn't matter about
where. If you want to take that deep dive into it, it is incredibly dark and a little frightening.
I think we need to take the deep dives. We're horrible.
Yeah, of course we do. Marge and Homer are absolute monsters.
with no remorse for it whatsoever.
No.
No.
There's who knows how many other Simpsons children have, met with accidents or gone missing in the woods, and
Who knows?
Yeah, there's a whole other can of worms to be opened there, I think.
Hugo's eating his napkin again. Oh, so funny. So funny. It's a great little segment, though. It's a great little story.
It is good. So that brings. So there's no in between, is there? As we said,
no, with no wraparound.
We've no wraparound, so we've no in between. So we're straight into the next story, the Genesis tub. And this is our whatchamacallit? This is our Twilight Zone. Yeah, it's our Twilight Zone referencing an episode of Twilight Zone called "The Little People." It was
a very short segment.
It does feel quite
very short. Mm.
Yeah. So basically, it's coming up to the Springfield Elementary Science Fair, and Lisa is working on a project to prove that diet sodas, to prove that soda is bad for your teeth and can rot teeth. So she's lost one of her teeth, and she's putting it in a cup of cola, and that's the basis of her project. I think she makes a crack about everybody knows that like fast food, cigarettes and alcohol are bad for people, but I can still ruin soft drinks or something along those lines. So Bart comes in with his project, which is basically rubbing his head on a balloon and
the effect on nerds, right?
The effect of static electricity on nerds, and So he zaps Lisa. In turn, she zaps the tooth in the cola, and from there we get rapid mold growth, which actually turns out to be incredibly rapid. But it turns out to be tiny little people, tiny little society that also evolve incredibly rapidly, going from the Stone Age through to the Renaissance, through to like a Jetson style future
within like 2 nights or whatever.
I mean, hours, if a couple of days, if not like less than that. And we got a few little observations of these little people, and Bart decides to be the jerky older brother that he is, and his finger slips. Oops, my finger slips. It's like, believing it to be a model village. It's oops, my finger slips, and he crushes it. To which
when she looks down in the microscope, it's just utter chaos and destruction with because this is the point where they're in the future. People screaming, like
there's a big thumbprint on everything.
Spaceships with searchlights looking for people. It's all so funny. Bart, whoops, my finger slipped. When you look at it, he's just destroying this civilization.
And that night, they retaliate with a little armada of spaceships. They send out, which, as we later find out, Lisa is shrunk down into the city, and it becomes apparent that the little civilization believe her to be God, and by extension believe Bart to be the devil. Which makes that attack on Bart the ballsiest move in the history of ballsy moves, because they've basically got together and said, right, we're going to
declare war
on the devil. They're going to attack. They attack the devil with it's like the Air Force going out and attacking the devil. It's
on that attack though, the animation is, as far as I'm aware, this is one of their more advanced pieces of animation at the time. It's like a trench run,
sort of canyon trench run.
It's very noticeable and impressive, because you hadn't really seen anything like that in The Simpsons before.
No.
I'm not really versed in how animation made, like or is compiled, or the techniques. But
drawings in it.
Drawings, cartoons. But in a simpleton's way of saying it, it's very different to what you've seen before in The Simpsons. It's a lot more advanced.
Yeah.
And they go through his head.
Yeah, blasted with the smoke coming out of his ears. And
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, it's a nice little cartoony gag moment.
It's such Looney Tunes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm assuming that little sort of trench run thing is meant to be a sort of homage to Star Wars or something.
That's
like
what
that.
I thought. That's what I thought. Yeah,
it's probably intentional what it is. I'm just scanning the Wikipedia for the Little People, the Twilight Zone episode, just to see sort of what the business is there.
Yeah, I'd seen that it was based on Little People. I hadn't properly.
It seems to be about astronauts on an alien planet finding a tiny little thing.
Village. Okay.
Yeah, tiny little society. So it's slightly different in that regard.
I mean, I mean, if that's the case for the Little Bit, I really then prefer the way they've gone about it with the tooth and the mold. Like, I generally love her experiment. I think it's fascinating.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, not to obviously not to say that could happen.
No. But if it could, it'd be cool.
It would be awesome, and I love like the tooth is in the center. It's like the center of the society,
being the castle or the town hall
yeah,
or whatever it is. Yeah, no, I like that as well. And well, I mean, being a fan of models and small castles and small little things and stuff. Yeah, that'd be sick. It's like those advertisements for sea monkeys where you thought you were going to get basically something like that, and not just.
Should I do it?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
I've had this for a long. I know it's really random. I know. Let me explain.
I knew we were doing this episode.
Let me explain. Why won't you let me explain? So
go on.
I had this tooth pulled out, let's say about 10 years ago. And I've just always had it. And I actually had it. I actually I showed a friend the other day, and I've just had it out on my desk. I know it's gross. Just got a tooth out on my desk.
I mean,
it's
at least
really cool.
It's your own. Yes, that is pretty
big,
cool.
isn't it?
It's quite, yeah. It's quite
and that's why it was pulled out. Look at the cave in there.
Well, there you go. You could make a little
castle.
Simpsons diorama in a little tub, a little little tub. What does Bart call them?
Oh, the people.
He calls them.
Oh, I don't know. I can find out and Frankie out though.
Yeah, a little tub of nerd juice or something or other. I can't remember. Something like that.
I think it's tub of nerd juice. Never say that again.
It's almost exactly those words. It's nothing.
Exactly.
It's nothing like that. I know.
No.
Yeah, because he says, "Oh, you can't. Your macro jerks. Your macro jerks attack me," or something like that. And then it's so the whole point of Lisa getting shrunk down is that she sort of says like, "Get off, Bart, and I'll protect my little society." And he says, "You can't watch them. You can't watch them all the time." At which point,
micro
jerks.
Yeah.
At which point, Lisa is shrunk down by a tiny Professor Frink, and
what does he use?
Debigulator. Which this is one of my favorite gags in.
Fantastic.
Is the debigulator was a success?
Well, can't you make me bigger? Well, that would require some sort of rebigulator.
Yeah, I do. I love that joke. So yeah, we basically, everybody bows in front of Lisa, and this is when we get the whole like they believe her to be a god, and Bart to be the devil. At which point, Bart appears, and you think he's gonna come and destroy the place, but he doesn't. He submits it as his own project, and presumably. Lisa's trapped there until the rebigulator is invented.
That's crazy though. He's never going to create the rebigulator.
I mean,
that's absurd.
He managed to navigate the tricky pickle matrix.
He did actually.
So I've got faith in Frank. I've got faith in him.
But what about his house that tries to escape then falls over?
Falls over. Professor Frink can make you laugh and make you think. So that's kind of the end of the story, isn't it? We with Lisa resigns herself to her fate, and I think she
wants some shoes.
She wants some shoes and socks. I'll get socks too.
I'll get socks. That's a great written line. Having that there.
I mean, I like the bit just before that where Lisa says something along the lines of, "Shouldn't you people be groveling?"
She's accepted it.
I think she's kind of resigned to it. While I'm here, I may as well.
Do you know what I would have done with this?
Be a god.
I would have liked to see more of Lisa in their world.
Mm-hmm.
You get straight in with Bart with the whoops my finger slipped.
Yeah.
That night they don't attack Bart, they just suck Lisa in. And maybe they could say, "Oh, you're our Lord, our God. We want you to protect us from the evil in the sky." And then we get more of Bart turning up, Lisa mingling with Frink and the other people, and being more of a she's accepted being in their world. It would have been nice to have seen a bit more of it. And then you can get to Bart taking it to the science fair.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, it's reminiscent, and I guess. There's the Futurama episode where Bender becomes effectively becomes a god by a little meteorite hits him while he's drifting in space, and he's responsible for the fate of a society, and I think that's kind of what the original Twilight episode is about. This sort of the morality involved with man being God or acting like God, or and obviously that's played out in a bigger way in that Futurama episode. Probably can't be done as much in this, with it just being a little short segment. But yeah, that would have been fun to see.
Don't they nuke each other in that Futurama episode?
They do, yeah. That a splinter group sets up on his ass, I think, isn't it? Because they have, and because they find his nuclear pile. That's that's the joke when they nuke this. Yeah. So there's obviously a whole big thing about like religion and being God and being responsible and all of that sort of stuff in that episode, which I appreciate. They don't have time for in this one.
No.
It's also, it feels like very much more just a science fiction story. There's not really much horror in this for me.
Oh, completely. Yeah, no.
It's I guess some horror comes from the fact that Lisa's trapped or what. Potentially, Bart gets bored and he flushes the thing down the toilet or whatever. It's there's an element of risk there, but it's not as sort of horror heavy as the previous story is.
No, it's not. It's not. I mean, science fair experiment.
Yeah,
really. Maybe if we had seen more of what the finger slipping had done,
yeah,
we'd get a bit more of a horror aspect to it. Yeah, I mean that's there's not really much to say. Like I said, it's a very short segment.
Yeah, it is a very short segment. It's very, very straightforward.
But it's
fun. It's got some nice little elements. Fun. It's good. But yeah, it's maybe not the best one.
No. But maybe it's short because we needed more time for one of the best ones. Like best
Citizen Kang.
Yeah. Ticking off our Kang and Kodos.
And the inspiration for this one is just the 1996 US presidential election.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
So take us into this.
Oh, like as you said, the 1996 presidential election between Senator Bardo and President Clinton. Homer is having a lovely little late night fishing trip.
Mm-hmm. Well, Homer's doing something we've never seen Homer do before, which is perfect setup for, like, we need some stuff to happen. So Homer's Homer's doing
yeah,
what he
yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
he needs to get abducted by aliens. How can he get abducted by aliens? Oh, well, he's late night fishing. Oh, yeah, like we've seen him do all those many times before.
Loves it. He loves it. So late night fishing, gets abducted by Kang and Kodos. This is our tick off the list for Kang and Kodos in Treehouse of Horror.
Yep.
They basically want him. They ask Homer to take them to their leader. That old trope. Take us to your leader. States that there is an election up at the moment, so it could be this guy, it could be this guy. They then kidnap both of them, Bill Clinton, Bob Dole, and basically take their form.
Yeah.
While they are in sort of suspended animation in the tubes, in the science fiction tube with goo in their spaceship. So Kang and Kodos take their form on Earth and basically continue the election race.
As Clinton,
as Kang, as Kang Kodos in disguise, in a way to rule Earth without showing that they're aliens. But of course, the only person that knows this is Homer.
Yep.
No one's going to believe him because they sprayed him with booze, whiskey or rum. And no one's going to believe him because he went out late night fishing, got drunk on rum, and came back with a preposterous story. And the whole episode is him trying to disprove it, basically.
Yeah, and he does, but because America only has a two-party system, it's too late.
A two-party system, yeah.
And they have to vote. Nobody wants to waste their vote, so yeah. Nope. They eventually. We get President Kang. There's a couple of good bits when Homer first gets picked up. So we have the claw grab. Instead of it being a fancy tractor beam or whatever, it's basically just a claw grab game that grabs Homer, lifts him up. It's also revealed that Kang and Kodos are brother and sister.
It's my sister. Hello.
Which I never
Did you
knew.
not know that? Did you not know that?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen this one before many times, but that's not a nugget of info that I've ever retained. I was like, oh, what, really? That's interesting.
Can you remember which one is the brother and sister?
No, I can't. Kang is the brother. Kodos is the sister. I guess. I mean, it's 50-50.
I did know it. But it's very important, obviously.
Yeah, clearly. Now, yeah. So that's just a fun little.
Kodos is the sister.
Kodos is the sister. Good
obviously.
To know. I'll remember that.
Obviously. Hello.
Oh yeah, clearly Kodos is a girl's name. So I also really like the spraying him with rum. The
gag itself.
I like, I like the fact that it's a bit of a joke of itself that people that claim to have been abducted by aliens or whatever, they're drunks, and that's something that comes up quite a lot. But so the aliens have like know this and spray them with alcohol to sort of perpetuate that. And
the bit itself being a massive, terrifying machine comes down in front of Homer. It's like a cylindrical device that gets shorter and shorter and shorter to a point. Looks like it's going to stab him, and it just sprays rum at him. And just sprays rum at him. And then they just open the side door and kick him out as well. Like, I love how sort of relatively low tech the alien technology is. It's just it's a hosepipe full of rum and a crane grab. How do they get abducted? So Clinton is... What's Clinton doing? Senator Dole has just left his meeting. Yeah. His campaign meeting, and it's like, oh, good luck tomorrow. And he just gets hoovered up. Clinton in the bath or something? Oh, I feel like he is. I feel like he is doing something like that. Yeah, I feel like he is. Oh no, he's in bed. In bed in his pajamas. You're gonna have to look it up. I'm gonna look it up right now. I feel like he's got a little presidential nightcap and he's in bed. Yeah, nightgown on. Yeah. And what's happening? Is it noon already? Yeah, that's the gag. That's the gag. So yeah, we have the election. I mean, there's the moment where we've got
them holding hands.
They're not holding hands, Aidan.
Well, everybody thinks they're holding hands because they are in.
They're merely exchanging long protein strings.
If you know a better way of exchanging long protein strands. And the other big highlight moment is the speech, isn't it?
Oh, Clinton's speech.
Clinton's speech. We must go forward, not backward. Upwards, not forwards. And forever
downwards.
Twirling towards freedom.
Bob Dole's and then we got Bob. This is such a quotable segment.
Yeah.
This episode. Well, yeah, this episode, but this segment of the episode. Bob Dole's one of abortions for all. Boo! Abortions for no one.
No bun.
Boo! Abortions for some. Miniature American flags for others. Yay!
And it's at that point that the American flags actually appear in the crowd as well, which is good.
Just before Clinton's amazing speech, he kicks it off with, "As a young boy, I dreamed of..." I went a bit Morgan Freeman then. As a young boy, I dreamed of being a baseball. It's like an AI language that just hasn't got it right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, look at that lobby coming.
Well, that's... Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what I say, while all this is going on, obviously, you know, we get sort of little snippets of Kang and Kodos in disguise on the campaign trail. And Homer is, like, feverishly trying to tell everybody that they're aliens. He interrupts a debate and unmasks them. And at which point, they sort of say, well, it's too late because you only have a two-party system. And,
well, before this, actually, he's then killed the real Bill Clinton and Bob Dole. He finds the spaceship back at the fishing lake.
Homer.
Yeah.
And he
saves them, but then kills.
I mean, to give him some credit here.
Oh yeah,
like,
he tries.
He tries, and the keypad. There's no instructions, and it's all labelled in a little alien language.
Yeah.
But there's images of the tubes, and it looks like that button might open them. What it actually does is like flush them out into space. But yeah, it's Homer flies in on the spaceship, crashes into the Capitol building. We hear as he comes.
That is so. Oh my god, there's little things, slight things with how whatever you're animating that make it hilarious, and that is hilarious. His pitter patter of running down the stairs is.
Yeah.
It's not. There's no words. It's just the camera panning from the spaceship crap into the Capitol building. It's hilarious, and that is based on a film called Earth versus the Flying Saucers, which I mean, a lot of these old sci-fi films that we mentioned that based on they were bashing these sci-fi films out in the 50s and 60s. But I mean, the fact this one the effects were created by Ray Harryhausen.
Yep,
gives it some credit in my opinion.
I love Ray Harryhausen. I
mean, how can you not? Which has the classic flying saucer discs over a Capitol building. So yeah, he crashes it in, and then that's when he runs down, disturbs the debate,
reveals them, unmasks them. And we have the gag of this. Just a two-party system. You're not going to throw your vote away, so you got to vote for one of us. Flash to Earth, enslaved, armed other Ragelians. That's what the Simpsons aliens
I believe they are. Yeah.
They're
bringing a big gun.
Guards. With a gun and being whipped and stuff. And Homer. President Kang's been elected, and Homer. Margie's complaining about it, and Homer says, "Well, don't blame me. I voted for Kodo."
An absolute classic line.
Any better, but it is a great line.
Classic line, which still gets referenced to this day.
Yeah. Don't blame me. I voted for Kodos. Yeah,
so
it's
now, do we don't know which one was Kang or Kodos, do we? I'm trying to think of the voices, because I think when we get introduced to Kang Kodos, right? Bit of investigation here. It says, "This is my sister Kodos," and we get the Dan Castellana voice. It's more of his voice saying, "Hello."
Yeah. Hello.
So, out of when they become Bob Dole and Clinton, they continue with their voices. So which
one's which?
I think that's Clinton. I think Kodos is Clinton.
I'm going to just quickly have a look.
Because by this, we can work out who won the presidential debate.
I think Kang is Clinton.
Okay.
That's what I'm going for. Is Kang Bill Clinton?
Clinton.
See, all it says in every write-up I can find is Kang and Kodos impersonated Bill Clinton and Bob Dole, and it's phrased in that way that makes me think Kang is Bill Clinton.
Right. I'm going to find
Kodos is Bob Dole.
I got my Disney Plus up. That's right, folks. I'm watching it now, legit. I didn't watch it legit to begin with.
Having said that, the Simpsons wiki puts it the other way around. Kang and Kodos pose as Bob Dole and Bill Clinton. So, which one's which? Who knows?
Bob Dole don't need this.
I mean, I guess, you know, obviously the outcome probably would have been the same. Enslavement of humanity. So,
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Really
yeah.
But, no, I'm curious to find out now.
There's pissing ads on Disney Plus, so I'm still waiting.
I wonder about this. Whether, because it's all right and it's got some quotable moments, definitely, and I don't dislike it by any stretch. But I wonder if I'd like it more if I was maybe more familiar with US politics of the mid-90s. Like,
yeah, we've talked about this before. About there are some specific
all my knowledge
time.
of Bob Dole comes from The Simpsons. I don't know anything about him otherwise. Otherwise.
They've referenced him before, like a USO show, which is like a show specific for army cadets, like soldiers. And Bob Dole's like a comedian or entertainer at that point.
No, he comes Bob Hope.
Bob Hope, sorry, shit. Damn it. Again, dated references.
Which again, I mean, that the entirety of that sentence was just lots of very American things. There was a US entertainment show and Bob Hope was there. Like, yeah. So Bob Dole, it's the same with Al Gore. Like, the only really knowledge of Al Gore comes from South Park and The Simpsons. I don't really know anything about him otherwise. I mean, Clinton a little bit more for the scandal, but
saxophone,
and playing saxophone. But does he actually play the saxophone, or is that just the Simpsons joke?
No, he did. He did. I'm going to find that. He did. I'm more familiar with Al Gore because that presidential debate was. Well, that was between Al Gore was his vice president, but Al Gore came into more fruition when he was going against George Bush. That's when the scandal of the voting and how George Bush won in Florida.
Can't say that I know more. I know that much about it. I mean, I was 96. 1996. I was 11. So I wasn't. If I'm not really following politics at 38, I'm not really doing it. Well, I wasn't really that into it at 11. I do know that Clinton plays saxophone genuinely. But thank you. I will watch that later.
Right, I've just found where they transform into Bill. We're going to find out who won the presidential debate. Right, hang on.
Oh, it's here. Wait, Kang becomes Bob Dole and Kodos becomes Bill Clinton.
Oh, you found it.
So technically, Dole wins.
Bob Dole wins. There we go, folks.
And that is
information.
Somebody basically doing what you were about to do. So yeah, I'm going with that.
Glad you got there before me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I quote Clinton's speech a lot.
Yeah.
Because it is hilarious. It's such just nonsense. But it's if you do the bit properly, it's hilarious.
Forward, not backwards. Upwards, not forwards.
No, it's upwards, not downwards.
No, it's not. It's upwards, not forwards.
Is it?
Yes.
I've been saying it wrong this whole time. I look like an idiot.
Forwards, not backwards. Upwards, not forwards. And forever twirling.
Twirling towards freedom. Oh, you're right. It's upwards, not forwards. So it's even funnier that he gets it wrong and I got it wrong. That's brilliant. Fantastic. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So when they're walking together, it's fooling these earth folders is easier than expected. Yes, all they want to hear are blind pleasantries, embellished by an occasional saxophone solo on Infant Kiss. Oh, it's so well written. Either way, your planet is doomed. Doomed! Yeah. So that's Treehouse 7. Treehouse of Horror 7. It's a solid, really solid entry.
Yeah, it is. I think so.
And for the most part, quite original. For the most part.
Well, I mean, yeah, we've only got one. The only like full reference we've got to something is the Genesis tub, the Twilight Zone Little People episode. The first is original, and the third is based on a real life world event that, you know. So it's
which is very dated now.
It is very dated now, but it's not the same. You know what I mean? It's not like another movie. It's just something that happened.
Yeah, and we've talked about things like I think like in The Simpsons before, where they seem dated now. That they're very topical references.
Mm-hmm.
It may be The Simpsons. It might be something else. I think it must have been The Simpsons. Topical celebrities or events that are of the late 80s or 90s, specifically American.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say that in the Hugo episode, there's a reference to Radio Shack. There's a joke about Radio Shack, and I can't remember specifically what it is now. But I couldn't. I meant to look it up to try and decipher it, and it slipped my mind. But I couldn't work out like what. I mean, I know what Radio Shack is, but I couldn't work out like why that was a gag. Like, and possibly. You know, that'd definitely be a dated reference. I'm not even sure. Radio Shack.
I think Radio Shack's just
anymore?
not very. I assume it's a shop that's not very fond of over there.
Yeah, like I say, I couldn't really get why, but you know, that's part of the fun though. Is looking back on these old episodes, is sort of laughing at things that you've kind of forgotten about, and you know, news and references to things that. Yeah, are no longer relevant at all.
Not at all. I don't, is Bob Dole even still alive?
I don't know.
No, he died 3 years ago at the age of 98.
Oh,
98? How old is Bill Clinton now? Clinton is 77. He's 77 now. This was 96, so 24, 30. So he was 47 then. Wow.
Guess so.
Just quickly, we don't need to repick. We don't need to repick 2 films under, do we? We're fine with what we picked on our 3rd attempt.
Yes, I'm not entirely sure how available some of those films are, but I don't think we need to redraw it.
No, that's fine. Just wanted to check that quickly.
Yeah, no, I think we just have to live with it now. But say going forward, I think the best thing to do is definitely going to be to expand those to decades rather than the smaller blocks.
Yeah, most definitely, and plenty more picks as well.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Some of the general stuff in there.
Good. So next episode is Secure, 1990 to 1995, and clown based.
Yeah. Which one are you doing again?
I'm gonna go with Funny Man.
You're doing Funny Man.
Funny Man.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, I found like 2 or 3 others. I'll just do one of those, depending on which one I can get my hand.
Of course. So, Treehouse episode. It's not Treehouse episode 8. It's Treehouse of Horror 8.
Yes, Treehouse of
That's what
Horror
it's classed
8.
as. Where are my notes for that? I don't know if you did this as a kid. You're older than me, so you would have been a little bit older at that point. I used to record using a VCR.
I do
and
remember
VHS.
those things.
I used to record Simpsons off the TV and make my own compilation videos of different Simpsons episodes. So I used to have loads of Simpsons, and this was one of them. I used to watch, because I used to didn't have all these DVDs as a kid, didn't have all these streaming services. I had to try and catch it when I could, or record it, and then I could rewatch it when I wanted. So I had this Treehouse of Horror episode on a VHS, and I've watched this a lot. This episode,
Well,
as a kid, as a young teen.
Funnily enough, we had this on VHS as well, but it was an actual tape release.
Was it one of those compilations?
Yeah, it had. We didn't. I mean, we watched Simpsons a lot, but we watched it when it was on, on TV. But randomly, like, my brother got, maybe a birthday present or something, a Simpsons tape, and it had this episode on it. I'm pretty sure it had this episode on it. It may have been a trio of Halloween episodes, actually.
Yeah.
No, the Lord of the Flies episode was on there as well.
Oh, well, they get saved by Mo, let's say.
Yeah, let's say Mo. Which I don't think is from a Treehouse of Horror episode, is it?
No, it's not. It's Das Bus.
Das Bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had Das Bus, and it had another one on randomly. Anyway, I can't really remember what it is.
I do remember their compilation videos they released were very random, and they tried to keep a theme on those videos. I got one from Asda. It was from free coupons from the Sun that my dad had collected. There was another one. I remember the cover being like a Mount Rushmore illustration of their faces. Simpsons VHS. Let's see what we've got here.
Yeah, I'll know it if I see it. I will know it.
I feel the same.
There's the Simpsons Greatest Hits is the VHS. Is the Mount Rushmore one.
Simpsons Greatest Hits, yeah.
Yeah, although I think there's a couple of different Greatest Hits ones, but there's definitely a Greatest Hits one with the Mount Rushmore cover.
But there we go. Yeah, there it is. So, but if we look at the episodes on it, Simpsons roasting on an open fire, Sweet Seymour Skinner's badass song, Trash of the Titans, Bart gets an F and Lisa's first word. What is the common theme here?
Yeah, that's odd.
You know what I mean? They were so random.
Oh, this episode wasn't on it. It was the Simpsons.com VHS tape is the one that my brother had, which had Treehouse of Horror 10 on there.
Okay.
Which is the one where Bart and Lisa get superpowers.
Oh, Stretch Dude and Clobber Girl.
Stretch Clobber Girl. Yeah, it's that one.
That's great.
So not this one at all. I'm mistaken, but for some reason I feel like I've seen this one a lot.
Okay.
So maybe that's just coincidental that I just happened to have seen this episode a lot. But in my mind I was thinking it was because it was on that tape, and it wasn't.
This is what I had.
About 10.
I found what I had. It was this one. I'm going to link it to you now. It was Oh Brother Where Art Thou? Is just one episode. It was the one with his brother.
Yeah, News of the World, Asda and the Sun.
Yeah, what a collaboration. Oh my god, all these old... We were talking about... I remember we talked about this maybe the last Simpsons episode, where it was around the late 90s, where Simpsons merch was through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
It was everywhere. Like, I remember even having this... How to draw like the Simpsons.
How to draw the Simpsons. I mean, that feels like a pretty obvious merch tie-in.
Yeah. But I digress with all this. Yes, I've seen this episode a lot. This Treehouse of Horror 8.
Yeah, I also
Homega
have, but
Man.
not for the reason that clearly not for the reason I thought I did. So yeah, we get again. We've got no wrap. Our introduction is the Fox censor crossing things out, including a joke about Fox News, I think, as well. Is something that he laughs at, and then no, and then he gives the episode parental rating, which then pulls a knife out and stabs him, and the rating goes up as it does. We get a bit of a blood splatter, and it's the Treehouse of Horror.
That is brutal intro, because remember when we've said this a lot. Simpsons is not like South Park that would have been shown, I think, about 10 o'clock at night. South Park normally. Simpsons in England 6 o'clock normally, or half 6.
Yeah, evening.
A kid turns it on.
Certainly pre-Watershed.
Kid turns it on dinner time or after dinner, and that is the first thing. Sting.
And
Sting.
yeah, you know, that's simulated. This the kind of simulated violence you can't get away with on TikTok.
No, yeah, it's brutal. And in theory, it wasn't that long ago, really.
No. This was 97.
Yeah,
it was 97.
Good times.
So, yeah, so that's our little intro to the episode. The Fox censor getting stabbed up by the parental rating, the TV rating thing, and the first episode, yes, the Homega Man. Inspired.
Probably the best of the episode, in my opinion.
I think this is definitely the best of the episode.
Yeah.
Inspired by, obviously, the Omega Man.
How did you guess?
The Charlton Heston movie, which is also which is based on I Am Legend, the novel, which was then later adapted again by as the Will Smith movie. So yeah, it's been adapted a few times as a story because it's loosely based on the I Am Legend novel, which was also adapted into a film. I think in the 60s, there's an I Am Legend movie, black and white movie from the 60s. Then there was the Omega Man in 70 something, 71, and then we have the Simpsons version, the Homega Man. Yeah. And then we have the Will Smith I Am Legend version later on. So yeah, it's a story that's been told quite a few times. To varying degrees of success and various changes and things. But yeah, I like me some post-apocalyptic stuff. I like the I Am Legend novel. It's very good. If you've never read it, I recommend checking it out.
Better than the film.
It's a lot better than the film. That 61 version of the movie is also quite good and follows the book really quite closely. This is obviously, it's more inspired and follows more the Charlton Heston version rather than anything else. The French nuke Springfield.
Yeah, right. Okay. So, my notes on this first segment are, let's say, a third quotes, a third funny gags, and a third why is this happening? Why is this happening? So the first bit, the Mayor Quimby stands by his ethnic slur against the French president.
Yeah.
What has one got to do with the other ever of Springfield and the French president? His ethnic slur caused that he stands by. Yeah. His ethnic slur that he stands by causes Springfield to get nuked. Which also throughout the episode, Homer states that he's the last man alive. He doesn't say like the last man on Earth. He just says alive. So in theory, like it is just Springfield that gets nuked. America is still fine.
As far as he knows. Yeah. As far as he knows. I'm just is Springfield twinned with anywhere? Like what
in universe?
Yeah. Like, I know there's obviously the whole thing about which state it's in and stuff, but is Springfield ever revealed to have a twin city at any point?
I don't know. I would say capital city.
I just wondered if
Capital city.
if it had another, if it, twinned with somewhere else and it was twinned with somewhere in France. Just trying to find a link as to why the president of France is listening to small town US mayor.
Why did they give a shit?
But yeah, he refers to them as frogs, doesn't he? And
yeah,
they take great offense to that, rightly they should, and decide to retaliate with
the Eiffel Tower opening
with
up.
the Eiffel Tower opening, because that is where France keeps their nuclear armament, I'm sure. It's
directly pointed up underneath. What if someone's on the Eiffel Tower when that goes?
Well, somebody falls off in that scene where the
do they?
splits.
I completely missed that.
Yeah. You do see somebody fall off it. So.
No. Oh, that's incredible! I had no idea. I completely missed it. That's a great little touch.
Yeah. So back in Springfield, there's obviously been some media buzz about this, and tensions are mounting between specifically Springfield, like you say, not the USA and France, Springfield and France. And Homer says he's not worried because he has a bomb shelter.
Yeah.
What
No. Carry on. I was reading. Sorry, go on.
That's why you were looking so confused.
No, I was confused by typing in Treehouse of Horror 8 and Frinkiac showing me what I thought was Treehouse of Horror 8, and it was showing me the Clinton and Bob Dole segment, and I was like, hang on, have we got it wrong? No, that is season 8, episode 1, Treehouse of Horror 7. That's what carry on. Never mind me, folks.
Okay,
Never mind me.
okay. So yeah, we see Homer, so we get a little cutaway to Homer's bomb shelter, which is a cardboard box.
Yeah, with an umbrella.
With a parasol umbrella sticking out the top of it, and I think it says USA #1 on it or something like that. Which is probably, of all Homer's like DIY attempts and inventions, it's probably the worst. Which is saying something.
Well, he hasn't got any. He hasn't got a shelterini.
I mean, in what universe is a cardboard box and a parasol going to protect you?
It's fine
from nuclear, burning to death in nuclear fire. So anyway, as Marge rightly points out, that's not very good. So he sets off to see, what's he called? The Herman. That's right, Herman, the arms dealer. That's not the word for it, is it?
Technically, he's an arm dealer.
Arm dealer. Hey. The army surplus.
Yes.
Store guy who doesn't come up in a lot of Simpsons episodes.
No, he's used sparingly, but used very, very well, especially in 22 short stories about Springfield, where he's basically Zed from.
When they do the
he's
Fiction.
He's not Zed. He's the shop owner from
Pulp Fiction. Yeah, that's good.
Zed gets here, the party will begin. So he shows Homer the withstandinator.
Yeah, his range of nuclear fallout shelters that he has. Homer is checking one out. While he's checking one out, the bomb drops, or bombs drop, and
we get a fact about the bomb. Not necessarily told to you, but we know it's a 6 megaton blast, but it's no bigger or smaller than a 6 megaton blast because the bomb shelter can withstand it. Speaking of which, it's called the Withstandinator.
Yeah, it can withstand 6 megatons, no more and no less.
No less. How heavy was Hiroshima?
I can't remember.
So, how much? I mean, what's a megaton? Is that 1,000?
I don't. I mean, you'd guess it was that, but I don't even know what. It's not the weight, is it? It's the
the
physical weight, the mass. It's got to be what the nuclear power, the nuclear weight. I don't really know what what's being measured when they say a bomb is X megatons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by nuclear bombs.
I mean, I've never really bothered to look it up.
Have you ever looked up the Tsar bomber?
No.
The Tsar bomber, or the Tsar, however you want to pronounce it, TSAR, is the largest.
I have heard of this,
is the largest bomb ever ever exploded, detonated. And it was a Soviet Union one, and it's scary.
58 megatons.
It's terrifying how big of an explosion it is. There's footage of it as well.
Yeah, I'm looking now actually.
It Hiroshima is like this.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at that exact scale.
Incredible.
Yeah. I mean, that is
terrifying.
I mean, Hiroshima is what, 15? I think 15
kilotons of dynamite.
Yeah. I think that's what it is, that's what a megaton equivalent dynamite power is, I think. Just from a brief look at that absolutely horrifying spectacle of man's destructive power.
You never know, we might need that though. Said an idiot.
we ever need to crack the world open. So yeah, Homer happens to be in the bomb shelter as the bombs drop, and as he's sampling one of the canned. What is it? Prime rib, my ass.
Oh, that's it. Yeah,
I think is what he says. Yeah, he comes out like sort of finishing off this can of meat and gives it to skeletal Herman. Doesn't notice at all that his
clothes still intact.
Clothes are still intact. But everybody is basically vaporized.
We're on to the point of my notes of the why now. We'll get to it. I mean,
a lot of lead-based textile in Springfield, presumably. It's so the boring answer is so you can recognize which character is dead.
He punches Kirk's head
because he punches Kirk's head in. As we
that man is to borrow a feeling.
He's driving home. He thinks he's stuck in traffic lights and he's beeping. Come on, it's on green. And he gets out of his car, which again is a massive overreaction. Homer, like full on road raging somebody, gets out and goes and just punches.
Yeah.
What are you playing at? Bam. The skull it is Kirk Van Houten, as we can see from the sort of identifiable remains.
Does he still has his glasses? Does he still have
blue? I think he still has his hair. I think he has the blue.
It's so messed up.
Yeah, I feel like he does that, unless that's a total Mandela effect. But I feel like
I need to look.
It's basically a skeleton with Kurt. It's Kurt. It's Kurt, isn't it? Kirk. With Kirk's hair and glasses. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Homer punches him. The skull explodes into dust, and Homer still got it. He celebrates the fact that he's just
absolutely fine.
Again, the obvious running gag here is that Homer still hasn't noticed that everybody's vaporized and dead. So in his mind, he's just exploded a man's head with his fist and thinks that's fine.
Thinks nothing has gone on. He's stuck in traffic.
Yeah,
look at that.
There you go. It still has his eyebrow.
So this nuke only eviscerated
flesh,
skin and flesh. Yeah,
it's only organic matter that it destroys apparently.
Yeah.
So yeah, Homer. It's just after this, isn't it? He sees.
Yeah, he gets the paper.
He sees the paper where the announces that the nuclear bomb has been launched, and. Yeah, falls to his knees and a cry of anguish. Laments his lost family, who are all big baseball fanatics. So there's little Bart swinging a baseball bat. Little Lisa also swinging a baseball bat. Little Marge, who's also swinging a baseball bat. And then the rest, which is the cat, the dog, Maggot and the TV.
Yeah, not the couch. I would have thought the couch.
I mean,
might
not
have
the
been
couch, not beer, not donuts.
No, the TV. The TV's very important to him, though.
Yeah. So we have, Homer then basically sort of flip flopping and realizing it's not that bad being the last man in the world. After all, because you can do whatever you want.
Everyone.
And of course, the first thing that you want to do in that situation is dance naked around the church.
No. That's the second thing.
Is that the second thing? What's the first?
He goes to the cinema to watch a film.
Oh,
and he decapitates another person who's in.
Up,
hey, buddy, down in front. Right.
And he kicks somebody's head off.
Just hear me out, okay? Here. Everyone inside the cinema is dead, apart from their hair and shirts.
Yeah,
but they're all dead inside. How did they die inside the cinema?
And the cinema is still standing.
It's still running.
And total.
And the film projector's running. But they are all their skin and flesh gone.
Yeah. I don't know. I am no nuclear scientist. I can't answer these questions.
You're not, but you play one on TV. Then he moves on to the church, sings to War. As
a tune.
Jackie Chan struggles with.
Marches around.
Rush Hour.
Naked. Yeah. Today's sermon is Homer Rocks, I believe.
Yeah. And we get the visit by the mutants.
Yes. He now finds out that he's not the last man alive, and some people survived the blast but were horribly mutated.
Yeah, and got organised and optimised in this mutated group cult within hours.
I mean, yeah, not a lot of time has passed in this.
Not a lot of time has passed for them to become this cult-like cannibalistic mutants, and where they get their car from.
that amazing. What is the car a reference to? I was trying to.
It's an incredible vehicle.
I was trying to work out because I've seen it before, and I don't know if it's supposed to be like the Wacky Race from the Wacky Racers.
It's a little bit Wacky Racers, yeah.
It's called. I mean, it's in the Simpsons Hit and Run game. It's called the Freakmobile.
The best Simpsons game, as we've established.
That only references it in the game, but yeah, I want to know. It looks like something from Wacky Racers or something of that ilk.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
big or the monsters. Didn't Grandpa Monster have like a drag racer? It wasn't quite as like tricked out with the big wheels at the back as that, but I'm pretty sure Grandpa Monster.
Yeah, you're right.
Monsters had like a dragster car.
Here you go.
And it's got that sort of vibe to it anyway. This big sort of they all but I think that the visuals of them all piling into it and like driving off is a reference to something else, but I'm not quite sure what it is. It feels like, I don't know, maybe even an Archie comic, something. I feel like they've done an Archie comic gag with something similar before in The Simpsons. With a bunch of people piling into a big car like that. But yeah, you're right. In a matter of hours, they've decided that the only thing for them to wear robes and eat skin.
Matter of hours.
Like,
they've all come together.
I mean, when did they have their like dancing naked in the church and going to see a movie for free moment? That should have.
And Homer has a great question. Where'd you get those robes from?
Yeah, he does.
I mean, he's fair point. Where did you get it from? There's a great gag when they're chasing after him. Before they chase after him, he runs away and gets into the hearse, and in the back is a coffin.
Ooh,
coffin.
yeah.
I love. I mean, they've done that later on with like Marge and the skeleton being scared of a skeleton. When you have this massive, horrifying thing that's just happened to him, but he's so now back into his own normality that a coffin is terrifying to him. So they go on a little car chase. Lenny just wants to eat his skin, and he ends back up at the old Simpsons house, which is all lit up as normal in the evening.
Yep,
family all good.
Looks absolutely fine.
Yeah, not damaged.
And we're told that the years of lead-based paint used in the decorating of the house,
another dated,
gave the house a protective layer, protective coating, sort of, well, able to withstand a nuclear bomb of 6 megatons, no more, no less.
No less.
Seemingly.
No less. No less.
So that was lucky. That's a nice little lucky convenience. Homer, reunited with his family, and they're having this moment, and then we get a knock on the door, and Homer says, "That better not be the mutants."
Better not be. Better not be. Would you believe it? It turns out to be the mutants.
Yeah. Shock twist, gentle listener. It is in fact the mutants. But the rest of the Simpsons clan are armed and dangerous and packing heat.
Now, was this after the Cartridge Family episode?
Oh, I don't know.
Because Marge did not want a gun in the house.
No.
They could have converted all those shotguns into one shotgun, like Mo showed them.
But there's quite a few episodes where this was just before.
Oh,
so I think this was 26th of October 97.
Yeah,
Cartridge Family was 2nd of November 97. So
wow,
it's the same season. It's the same season.
That's a week after.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! Okay, I didn't even think about that. That's incredible. Okay, so Marge, but obviously, sure. All right, cool.
It's
like
episode.
And they blast the mutants away. They blast them.
They do. So they give them one of these, some homeboys, fire girl.
They were dissing them.
And have you ever seen the
what?
The Omega Man, the child?
No, I have not. No.
It's a good watch. It's pretty good. But yeah, I mean the ghouls in that, the sort of mutants in that are very much like they took the look directly from that, with like the pale skin and the sort of facial sores and dark robes and stuff. I don't remember there being a dragster. What a shame. But it is a long time since I've seen it.
I'm looking at them now. They look very much like Romero zombies.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a sort of like pasty face thing. I mean, it's interesting in that they've got the power of speech and they do come outside. Because the whole thing in Ireland, that like every night he's tormented basically in the original novel it is vampires, like it is in the Will Smith version, but instead of being the beast sort of practically zombie type things, they are still vocal human, and they taunt him outside every night. They're begging him to come out so they can kill him basically. So it's interesting that the Omega Man they didn't go with the vampire angle, they went with like mutants, but they still have this like power of speech and they are sentient and
they are completely
form of society. It's decent is the Omega Man, and this is again up with like the shinning and stuff. It's a good parody an existing
I'm quite intrigued by it,
thing. It's all right. It's a while to say. It's a while since I've seen it, but worth a watch. So this is another example. The Simpsons doing a good parody of something rather than just like a little nod to it. It's almost like a full version of the story. Full marks, and it's got some great gags. It really does. I think with Homer like punching the skeletons and being scared of the coffin and all of that sort of stuff.
Just being completely oblivious of what's happened.
Yeah.
Completely oblivious.
The it's that special level of stupidity that Homer like exhibits.
Only Homer can have, yeah. So again, no wraparound. We move into our second story, which is, I think this episode, I'm not the biggest fan of the next two stories, if I'm honest. Especially the last one. I'm not the biggest fan of the last episode. The last story.
No, I'm not.
I'm just going to open the window. Very hot here.
Go for it. No, I'm not. I'm not hugely keen on the last one either.
No.
But maybe like it more than this. I think this is the weaker.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's hard to pick, but again, this Fly versus Fly, the next segment, it's quite weak. It's very weak.
Yeah, no, we've got a nice. I mean, based on the Fly.
Loosely, yeah.
Loosely based on the Fly. I mean, again, this is like there is a 98 version of Fly, which I've not seen. I'm quite familiar with the Jeff Goldblum.
Yes.
86 version, which I guess it's the same thing, but I don't know just how close those two versions are. But yeah, essentially we open with the Simpsons at
Frinkiacs yard sale.
Frink's Professor Frink's yard sale. I mean, if there's one thing I do like, it's Homer haggling for the matter transporter. It is one of my favorite lines to quote.
So is it $2?
$2 and it only transports matter.
Yeah.
I'll give you. Is it 5 cents or 50 cents? But he gives him like nothing for it,
and he sells it. He gets it.
Yeah. I'll give you 5 cents. I think it's 5 cents. Gives you 5 cents.
Said,
so we get a couple. We do get a couple of good, fun sight gags of Homer using his new matter transporter.
He does.
Around
he gets
the house.
use out of it.
First, I can't remember just what order it's in, but we see him setting it up next to the fridge. So while he's on the couch, he reach and grab.
Is it cat medicine?
Grab a can, and he grabs cat ear medicine. Which we get. Yeah, we get him sort of making what at first sound like disgusting noises as he's presumably not looked at it, grabbed what he thinks. I mean, why is cat ear medicine coming in a can, like a beverage can? Shaped container,
compressed pop.
like it's carbonated cat ear medicine.
Pop that off.
That you're gonna keep in the middle of your cans of beer in the fridge. So yeah, so without looking, he grabs the cat ear medicine by mistake. Makes what at first sound like sort of horrified noises, but then he's like, but it morphs into, oh, that's so good. Which again is that sort of level of Homer obliviousness, I think, that is just.
And it's funnier not seeing him drink it.
Yeah, definitely.
Hearing it is funnier than not seeing it.
Yeah, we don't. It's we've got the strong implication that he's drinking it. He's reaching for a can. What else do we see him do with it? Oh, getting upstairs. That's the first thing he does. Is like bedtime.
Yeah, he catches on fire.
Bedtimes used to be a laborious chore. And good night, losers. He's on fire.
Good night, losers.
And then I think the third one is we see him pushing it into the bathroom pushing it into the bathroom up to the toilet, and then casually stroll into the living room whistling.
As Marge's sitting there on the couch,
unzips his fly. As if like she's gonna be, oh my god, you're like dead impressed by the fact that he's doing this. She stops him. Homer node. But it's the bit. So we get this nice little 2-part gag to this. We get that bit, and then the next bit is when Homer gesticulates and throws his arms out. One arm goes into the transporter, and we hear Lisa shout, "Ow, somebody just punched me in the face."
It was your mother.
So it's just, I just like that they managed to get 2 gags out of that same action of Homer.
The same bit, yeah.
So Homer putting it in the bathroom. So yeah, and throughout all this, he basically forbids Bart from messing around with it.
Mustn't touch it
and using it. Obviously, Bart, being the little tinker that he is, doesn't listen. And as a little experiment, he tries to send the cat into through it with the aim of, if it's a success, it'll somehow sneak it into a bank vault. I mean, it glosses over the fact you've got to get one half of that giant transporter in the bank vault.
Into the bank vault first. Yeah. The dog jumps in, right? He doesn't put the dog. The dog jumps in. That's how we get our transformation.
He's trying to push the cat's like not having any of it, gripping the sides, and as he's pushing the cat, the dog jumps and knocks them both in, and we end up with cat dog, a little push me, pull me, head of a cat, head of a dog in one creature, and then the sort of the other end of it, literally with the two butts, the two butt ends of the animals stuck together. And we get a little like
that's Lisa. You can be Lisa's.
You can be Lisa's.
And then he sees the fly.
Yeah, that gives him the idea. He sees a little fly lands. Hang on a minute, I can give myself superpowers. Expecting to be transformed into sort of a super strong for no real reason. Just because.
Why would it make him strong? He just assumed it would.
But visions of being this sort of ultra buff, like fly-eyed and winged.
Yeah,
like
similar to the butterfly when he's the butterfly.
Yeah,
it was the butterfly. I tell you, the butterfly. And it does not go his way.
No,
we get the opposite.
Well, we get his head on a tiny fly's body.
Yeah.
He's shrunk down, and his tiny little head's on the fly's body, and then a fly's disgusting head on his body.
Yeah.
And he's not actually that disappointed by it. He takes to being a fly quite well at first. Like
he's just sort of, oh well.
It's like, oh, that didn't work, and then he's out. He's out tricking spiders and slapping them about.
Oh, I love the spider when he's tricking the spider. Help me, and then flies away. And then the spider is like, "Why you pesky little?"
Yeah, he slaps it, and then flies off.
I'll get you, you little fly.
The spider's doing is Mr. Wilson shaking his fist.
The segments between like when mutated Bart with the fly head comes out of the transporter, when they first it's like what's all that mist down there? That's what Marge says. And then when they come down, they're terrified. And Marge, it's hilarious when Marge just grabs the broom and just starts batting it on their head, like shoo. And then they realise this is actually Bart, but with the fly's body taken over, basically Bart. And they just accept him as well. That's still my son.
In fact, Homer immediately tries to punish him for using the machine without his permission. That's Homer's first reaction.
Well, when they come down.
Yeah.
Get out of that machine, boy. Yeah. But he embraces his new son instantly.
Yeah.
He wants to borrow his sugar.
And I like do like that bit. He's trying, So Fly Bart is eating the sugar, and Homer's like reaching around over his shoulder.
Okay, boy.
It's your sugar.
He gets it in the end.
In some ways, though, he's like he's a better father to the fly. To the fly monster hybrid. He's spending far more time with the fly monster version than he does with like actual Bart. Maybe because they both have a insatiable craving for sugar. Maybe that's the moment of bonding that they need. I mean that I think Homer's trying to steal his sugar is a bit of a standout gag for this bit for me as well.
When he kisses it as well, the gruesome drool stuck to it. It is horrible, really horrible.
Yeah, a trail of like slime. Oh, yeah, no, that does genuinely make me cringe.
It's really horrible. And then we get Lisa gets the reveal that Bart is a little fly, has been turned into a fly. She sees him as he flies into her lamp, and it's projected onto the wall.
Yeah.
Fly into my saxophone, and the echo of his voice, his high-pitched voice, comes out, and they can communicate with each other. But Brother Fly is also listening, eavesdropping in, and ends up chasing Lisa around, and they end up at the transporter, and she tricks him with the microwave.
I'd say Homer shouting, "That's it! Get that fly! Smush him
that
good!"
fly! Smush him good. Yeah, she tricks him. Presses the door release on the microwave, knocks him into the transporter with Bart, and all is back to normal. But Homer is still not pleased.
Almost, and that's when he chases him for
with an axe.
I'll teach you to screw.
I'll chop you good.
I'll chop you good.
Once again, very dishevelled parents that don't like their children, that don't appreciate their children.
No. I mean, Homer paid a whole 5 cents for that. Because it only transports matter.
Well, why would you? It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, again, short and sweet, little body swap story. It's good, I guess. I think I would have liked. I think I would have liked more our version of the Jeff Goldblum fly.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that it could have been done better with Homer basically playing a Jeff Goldblum character.
But then Homer would have been more of a mutated looking sort of. Where would that have gone?
I don't know, the same way that they do the Nightmare on Elm Street or The Shining, or not necessarily Homer. It could have been one of the characters, but it's all right, but maybe more actual fly monster stuff going on. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. But it's a perfectly serviceable segment. It's just not strong. It's not that strong.
Not the best one.
Speaking of which, not strong. Our last final installment, Easy Bake Coven.
Easy Bake Coven, which is actually, interestingly, there's no Twilight Zone in this one.
In this whole episode.
We've got the Omega Man and the Fly.
Yes,
and then Easy Bake Coven is, I say, I don't think it's a given that every single Twilight Zone, but Twilight Zone is quite often an inspiration for these shorts. But yeah, Easy Bake Coven is just, I guess the inspiration is the Salem witch trials.
You're right.
And it's just it's a story about witches. So we get some good gags with Homer accusing Goody Flanders.
I accuse Goody Flanders. Because they just want to burn people.
I mean, it's that, which I guess is sort of like riffing on the hysteria of the time. There's also essentially a running gag of every time a female character speaks, they can accuse her of a witch. Yeah. Like being a witch. Like Lisa gets accused several times by Bart and Homer at the end. Just for sort of speaking up and speaking against them. It's she's a witch. So yeah, they have they have a trial. Margie's accused of being a witch, and as they it's that not really a parody because this sort of stuff supposedly did happen, but yeah, we'll push you off this cliff with a broom, and if you fly,
I love that line by Wiggum. I love it. Yeah.
And if you fly, then you're a witch, and come back here for punishment,
for processing and burning. Yes.
And if you die, then sorry. Which goes back to the whole if you drown, then clearly you weren't a witch.
The paranoia back then is just insane.
Yeah, I mean, when were the Salem witch trials? Because I think they were later than.
I want to say 1800s, 1700s.
No, 1700s.
1700s, right?
Salem. 16. Just the end, 1692.
Oh wow, okay.
So February 1692 to May 1693. So about a year thereabouts of time. I listened to something a few months ago about it, and they were just talking about the sort of mass, that it's like a really good example of sort of mass hysteria where everybody just for like a relatively short period of time all gets like hyper involved, and they have more than 200 people were accused. Only 30 people were found guilty, but there were a lot of people that were like imprisoned, and there was a lot of corruption. People getting accused and imprisoned so they could steal the possessions and steal land and stuff. I mean, British witch trials were earlier, not hugely earlier, but 1640s, through to the 1650s. I think there was a longer period. The Pendle witch trials were...
That sounds highly familiar.
The Pendle witch trials was 1612. They were, which is, yeah. I mean, that's what is my home patch.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a story I'm very familiar with. But yeah, that was 1612. So the Salem ones are probably more famous globally, but they were comparatively later to some other things. But yeah, plot twist: Marge is a witch, and she flies off on her broom to rejoin her coven. Which, I mean, Marge is the best choice because then you can have Patty and Selma.
Once again, you've built the perfect universe to be able to pick and choose which characters you want, and Patty and Selma fit it.
It's one thing they do well is, they've got such a good cast of characters and wide-ranging characters. You can make some good choices and good picks for this. I mean, in theory, you could have randomly put together any 2 or 3 of the female Simpsons characters.
Oh yeah, anyone.
But Marge and her 2 sisters,
perfect fit.
Yeah, perfect fit. You're right. So, and they obviously get to make a gag about her finally leaving.
Durwood.
He's
finally left Durwood.
He's finally left Durwood. And yeah, they basically set about plotting revenge, and they overhear the superstition or the theory that witches eat children, and they had not thought about that. They were just going to steal their doormats?
They were going to swipe their doormats, I believe. Yes. But their plan
the
for
children sounds better.
Yeah, but their plan for eating children doesn't actually play out in the end.
Well,
they get fed it. Well, it does. It does. Actually, I forgot about that.
We just don't see it. So the first house we see them visit is the Flanders house
with their protective cross, which does nothing.
Take a look at this.
Oh please.
And yeah, they're bagging up Rod and Todd to take away, and Maud intervenes and offers them some gingerbread children instead. They decide that actually this is much more delicious, and essentially that sparks off trick-or-treating. We get Ralph Wiggum.
They decide they want to do it every year. Yeah.
So long, witchies. Thanks for not eating me.
Yeah, you hags are all right. As he's a beaver.
yeah, he's still a chipmunk or a beaver or whatever he's turned into previously. But yeah, they say like if only we hadn't filled up on all those kids before we got to the Flanders house. So
subtle little joke there where they did actually go through with it.
Definitely there. They've eaten X number of children beforehand. The only other line that really sticks with me in this one is, I got a caramel card.
Fish with caramel with it. There's a great line, which is kind of off base for Ned. Before, when they're in their house and they're looking up at the mountain and see the witches, it's Maud panicking. And she's like, "Oh, Neddy, look at them up there plotting our doom. They could force us to commit wants of acts or carnality." Yes. And Ned's like, "Huh, that'll be the day.
That'll be the day." Yeah.
That's very out of character for Ned.
It is. I picked it. I mean, obviously, it's a funny joke. But Ned is not the person that you'd expect to make a gag like that at all. Yeah. Especially, we've seen aspects of Ned and his sort of as a devout Christian and his relationship with sex in other episodes, and he's not the character that you'd expect to be making like a chance to be a fine thing gag there.
As well, they're both 35.
We've had
past their life expectancy. I'm 35 in 3 months, so I'm holding out hope here that I'm gonna survive.
Well, times have changed. Things are better now. So and then we get the ending where they've basically have invented the practice of trick or treating, and instead of eating children, they come and get sweets.
Yep.
And we have Homer dressed as a genie. So
I was wondering, is it the dancer in the Simpsons?
Oh,
the stripper dancer, or the exotic dancer? Yeah.
What's she called? Like Madam something or other.
She's in one of the very early episodes. Bart
yes.
catches him.
Simpsons stripper character.
That one.
It's like late. Princess Kashmir, is that it? Yeah, Princess Kashmir.
Yeah.
It's similar. It's similar to that. I think what is actually, I think it's I Dream of Jeannie.
Okay.
I think it's her character. Yeah, because it's the same headscarf, and I think
is that again. That's a very American reference. All I know is where they're like this and they not their head. And it's
her. I'm just gonna send you
because I was trying to see if any of the other characters' fancy dresses were of, let's say, future times references.
Yeah,
like one was a pumpkin, I think. One they were all very basic. One was a pirate or whatever. Yeah, so that would kind of fit in their time. But if he's dressed as,
good point. He's dressed as. I mean, I suppose you could argue that it's kind of.
To be a genie.
Or a sort of harem girl, or something like that. But I took it to be that outfit, the pink. If you're not familiar with I Dream of Jeannie, it's a 50s, 60s American sitcom.
I believe so. Yeah,
a guy that's married to a genie, basically, and she can, grant wishes and stuff, and spends her time dressed in sort of, I don't even know how you describe it. I guess harem girl,
genie garb, shall we say?
Pants and little waistcoat, and think of sort of bog standard Aladdin characters, stereotype stuff. So I think that's what I took sort of Homer's thing to be. But he's egging a house, shouting, "Come on, give us some candy," and
it's their house.
that it's their house. Because of course it is. Of course it is.
Because he's a fucking idiot.
And Homer just shouts, "She's a witch," and everybody chases after her. Which is a nice little. Sorry, it's not the final gag, is it? And we get the sea captain telling us that this is the story of the. That is
the final gag, because the sea captain is the transition from the witch, to the next year. We did miss the gag of though when Marge becomes a witch and she sends the bats for the townspeople. He's like, "They're in my hair. They're in my hair."
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah, that's the end.
It's all right. Is this one?
It's
I don't know whether it's 7 is definitely the better episode altogether. Homega Man is my favorite segment out of this one.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
I think this is probably the second best. I think for me, The Fly is the weakest. Just because I
agree.
Just because I think there are a couple more like quotable moments and funnier gags in this.
No, I agree. You're right.
But yeah, Treehouse of Horror 7 and 8 in the bag. We're clipping through these at a fair old rate.
Dunzos, yeah. 7, still, I think, is the most solid. I mean, what I want to do is when we get to 10, I want us to stop for a second, and I want us to try and rank. I'll get all the segments. Let's rank, not the episodes, the segments.
Oh, okay.
We're going to go through the segments and rank the best well, not segments, shorts. We call them shorts.
So that's that's what we're going to do. 30.
Yeah,
30
yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. What, you want to wait until we get to Treehouse 34 and do them all?
Yes.
No.
Okay. I mean, fair enough. I'm down for that.
There's some homework for you.
I mean,
start ranking, sir.
I'm just looking, and I think like 10 marks the sort of end of the ones that I know I've seen definitely as well. So when we get beyond that, I know I've seen a couple of them, but we are going to get into territory of very new ones to me. As well.
That's also why I think it'll be easier for us to rank them, because we know them more. We know them well. Treehouse of Horror 10 still references it as Simpsons Halloween Special.
No.
By the way, it looks here. So still at this point, we're still at Halloween specials. So yeah, there we go. 7 and 8 done and in the bag, and superb. If you've never seen The Simpsons, if you've never seen these, go watch them.
Yeah, go and watch them.
They're 20 minutes each, just absolute superb entertainment.
November 3rd of this year, we get 35. Treehouse of Horror 35.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that when we catch up.
Everything is to be announced in terms of what's going to be in it, but that it's already on the Wikipedia list. That's going to be the air date for it.
Okay, well, enjoy that if you get to it. We won't be covering that for a while, but yeah, hopefully in the future.
I mean,
so next,
actually, on that subject, like what is going to be the end point to this? Because we're not going to do this indefinitely. Right? We're not going to be keeping up.
Well,
with
it's going to have to.
One.
What do you mean?
Well, once we do, like say for example, 35 is the last one released by the time we get to the end of these episodes. When are we going to keep doing 36?
Well, I think then we'll have to. Then we can do it annually thing. You know, then it makes it easier on us rather than we do two. We're slowly catching up.
You'll get them much more spaced out then.
Yes. Yeah. But still, splitting, let's say 34 into a month, that's 17 months, that's a year and a half of we've still, content. So plenty of Simpsons Treehouse of Horror content coming your way, and that's already there on the YouTube, on the Spotify, on the Apple, on the Google, on the Amazon, on the Podbean, on the Samsung, all by searching the Dreadcast.
Beautiful.
Just getting that in before we do that. 7 and 8 in the bag. And you can check out all the past Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors. We'll be doing 9 and 10 next month in June. Last episode for May. If we can get to it in May. Work life has become very busy. Is 2 films under. To be fair, if you're still here 2 hours in and you're listening to this, God bless you. But you should know 2 films under the next installment, which we have picked the criteria
we've
for.
We've got it. Yeah, and check out the socials in the coming.
Yeah, it's all there. It's all there.
Days for what specifically those films will be, and thanks for listening.
There's nothing else to delve into. Brain fried. So much Simpsons talk. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye.